Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It is getting a little bit warmer here in the Northeast, but it is still cold. And one of the things that has been, I should go say, going around, there's been a lot of things that are going around. So I thought that this talk was going to be very appropriate. I actually did end up getting the flu a couple weeks ago, and I rarely ever get really, really, really sick. The last time I did was when I had COVID, and as many of you know, I've discussed my journey from that I had a lot of those post-viral symptoms after COVID that I had to clean up. Actually, long COVID, I had that about for 9 months, but I even had symptoms going longer than that as there were some relapses and autoimmune conditions. But a lot of the strategies that I'm going to talk to you about today to help you to bounce back from any sort of I don't want to say disease, but viral illness, particularly the flu, can help you in the long term to keep you healthy and to keep your immune system functioning properly and to keep you functioning properly, which is really important. So with that in mind, I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Drew Mulvey. I'm a certified dietitian nutritionist, board certified nutrition specialist, and certified integrative sports nutritionist. Really, I am a vitality specialist that works not only closely with athletes, but those that really want to take their own health into their hands and to know that they have control over their health. I have developed programs to be able to see what is going on at a cellular level and get to know you not only at a cellular level, but also get to know you at an emotional, spiritual, and physical level. So that didn't sound right, did it? To get to know you as a person so that we develop plans that are catered specifically for you that is going to benefit you and bring you the most vibrant health. Okay, so with that in mind, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to bounce back from the flu and bounce back from any sort of viruses that could have long-term effects. Let's first talk about what the different viruses are out there and what some of the long-term effects could be. Particularly, there's flu, there's COVID, and there's colds, but really the two main ones is why they have shots for it, are flu and COVID. So some of the symptoms, including they're very similar, actually. For flu, you get body aches, you get massive headaches, you get stuffy nose, coughing, chills, hot flashes. You're kind of bedridden, you have massive fatigue. I mean, it really does take you out. And from your body going through that for such a long, I shouldn't say such a long, even just that small period of time, there can be lingering effects. So you need to be able to know how to kind of bounce back properly and use nutrition and nutrients to be able to keep your body functioning after that happens. So for me in particular, I had the body aches. I was in bed for basically 2 days. I had just a lot of fatigue. My head just felt like it was in a vice. I was coughing, and then a lot of pressure was being released from my head and then going through my nose. I didn't have very much of an appetite. I felt really nauseous. I pretty much had all the symptoms that you could think of. And from there, the fever broke about 3 days later because I was able to integrate some nutrients, which I can kind of talk about that too. But I am still 2 weeks down the line and there are still some symptoms. So some of the lingering symptoms that you can find is that there could be a cough or there could be fatigue still. There's a reason behind that. There could be that you're just, yeah, fatigue. That's probably the biggest one that I have been dealing with. So some of the things that you can integrate in, well, let's go into the biology exactly of what happened. Your body was in an extreme state of stress. So, infection is one of the stressors that's on your body. So, if you've already had psychological stress, nutritional stress, mechanical stress, I mean, of all of those different seven stressors, even being around, actually, I had extra, how do I want to say this? I was extra sensitive to electromagnetic frequency. So that's from your phones, that's from your computer. I couldn't be on my computer. I actually felt like I was going to throw up if I was on my computer. So crazy. Yeah. You can't always, just because you work from home, sometimes you really can't work through it. But with that in mind, your body is under such a straight state of stress that it does take a toll on your body and can have those long-term effects. So, with that in mind, what are some of the long term effects? You could be experiencing fatigue. There has been long COVID. Those symptoms can last up to 2 years, especially if you had the original one. The ones that you have recently, I've talked a little bit about spike protein. So, there is a YouTube video on that for you all to check that out. So this is going to be kind of similar, but at the same time, we're going to talk about viruses in general because the flu is very similar to COVID. So when it comes to the actual, right, we're talking about how your body is under stress. Well, what happens during that time? You have a lot of fatigue because your body is so inflamed that it can actually eat away at your muscle a little bit. That's one of the terms that they've used is well, sarcopenia is basically muscle wasting, and that can happen when older individuals above 55 because they can't retain their muscle mass as well. So that's going to alter your metabolism. It's going to alter your energy levels. I mean, if you don't have enough muscle, it's a very metabolically active component of your body. And that can also decrease your immune system too. So that's what having the flu, having COVID is that it's such an inflammatory process that can actually start eating away at the muscles. And that's where you get that post-viral fatigue. That's where you get that muscle weakness. That's where you kind of feel like just a general sense of malaise because some of your muscle just got eaten up. Um, with that in mind, that's going to be one of the first things that you want to try to counteract, particularly eating enough protein. That's going to give you amino acids not only to be able to help to rebuild your muscles, but also to help with your adrenals to decrease any sort of stressor that could be on your body, particularly phenylalanine and tryptophan. So phenylalanine goes down the pathway where noradrenaline and adrenaline are going to be made. So it's going to be a nice, healthy stress response. And then we have tryptophan, which many of you know is the precursor to serotonin and melatonin. So that's going to help you just with a better mood in general. And it's going to help you with better sleep. So that's definitely going to be helping your recovery. I mean, sleep is one of the biggest pillars for recovery and for health that you can incorporate in. So, getting enough protein in and to help to rebuild that. Now, does that mean that you have to go full fledged? No. Interestingly enough, with that inflammation, that it is still going to be there. So your cardiorespiratory rate is probably going to be down a little bit. So starting a little bit of walking. Now, why is the walking important? Okay, the walking is important, even just getting some movement. What it does is it actually, well, you're contracting your muscles. So that is also going to help with producing energy. It's going to help with insulin sensitivity. Because if you are not processing glucose and you're not processing your carbohydrates properly, then that can also be another stressor and increase inflammation. So we don't want to do that. Yes, we can still incorporate carbohydrates, but still we want to have that insulin sensitivity and we want our muscles functioning properly. But that walking is going to help with lymph to circle around your body. And that lymph goes through your liver, it gets cleared out. It basically is cleaning up the debris from the virus, so then it gets it out much quicker. Obviously, drinking a lot of water, so that's going to flush it out too. But not moving enough can actually slow that process down. So, when you're getting back into it, making sure you're getting your steps in, that you're walking, even if you have that fatigue, do the best that you can. Modifying your workouts is also going to be key to still doing strength, but you don't have to do things as heavy. I got back to it and I noticed it because you got to think about it. What I was saying before, your muscles are not going to be as strong because the inflammation kind of ate the muscles away a little bit. So it's going to take a little bit of time to bounce back, but increasing not only the protein and also the resistance training, it doesn't have to be as heavy as you were going before, obviously, but incorporating a little bit, even lighter weights, and making sure that you're doing some sort of strength training is only going to help to develop the muscle better, help with your metabolism, your immune system, with insulin sensitivity, with energy production, with all of those different things to help your body to kind of get moving a little bit. All right, so what are some of the other things that you can incorporate, even when you do have this? Say you do have this. Vitamin C is going to be a really great addition for you because it's very nourishing to the adrenals, and it also is a very potent antioxidant that can help to break the fever quicker if you have higher doses. You just don't want that for long periods of time. But having some vitamin C in there. Now, other things that you can incorporate too, you have to think about the inflammation that's in your body. So, incorporating some really potent antioxidants, particularly they recommend resveratrol, quercetin, and the catechins. So catechins, we know very well about that from green tea and matcha green tea, that those catechins have very potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Now there's quercetin and resveratrol. Resveratrol, yes, I understand that people say that it's in red wine, but that is also alcohol too, which can kind of mess up your gut microbiota a little bit. And I'll be talking about that in a little bit. You want to make sure that you have a nice balanced microbiota so that you're building up your immune system, and that it's going to help to progress you to get healed quicker. But it's also in grapes as well. And then quercetin, I was showing this yesterday. A really good source of quercetin is actually pomegranates, and I got that pomegranate powder, and I have been putting it in with my cacao. I actually had that this morning. Plus, it also helps with the production of nitric oxide. So, interestingly enough, with that in mind, nitric oxide, arginine is the precursor to that, and so is L-citrulline. Arginine can actually be an anti-inflammatory, like super, super anti-inflammatory. So incorporating the pomegranate juice, I really like the pomegranate juice powder because there's not going to be as much sugar in it, and you're getting a more condensed version of the antioxidants. So including a little bit of that in. Other sources of quercetin, pineapple and apples, they recommend also to break up any sort of mucus. That's what quercetin does. That's why it's so important for seasonal allergies, because it breaks up that mucus, and it's an antihistamine as well. It's like one of nature's antihistamines. Other great sources, capers. I love capers personally. I love them. I know some people get skeeved out by them, but they are a really great source of quercetin. Other great sources of quercetin include garlic and onions. So making those soups, things that are going to be really warming for your body, will only help you to bounce back quicker. Particularly making soups with bone broth. That's going to provide another important amino acid called glutamine. And glutamine not only helps with your digestive system and your digestive tract, but it also helps with the production of your natural antioxidant glutathione. So again, you don't okay, so glutamine is very beneficial, but again, it may potentially increase glutamate levels. I don't think you're going to be having that much to be increasing glutamate levels, which it could be potentially neuro neuroexcitatory. But case in point, glutamine is going to be very beneficial for you, and that is a really big component of bone broth. Another good source of glutamine is red cabbage. So this is one of my favorite dishes, some boiled red cabbage. You put it in bone broth with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and instead of maple, I put maple syrup, but you can put a little bit of stevia in there too. It is one of my absolute favorite dishes. So very functional dish that you can have for your veggies on the side, that's going to give you that glutamine. It's going to give you those other amino acids in there from the bone broth, and those immune boosting properties as well. Plus, cabbage also is a good antimicrobial, so incorporating that in, that's been a part of my nutrition plan this week in particular as well. Omega-3 fatty acids, this is really important when it comes to viral replication, because it actually stops that viral replication at the RNA level. Another component, or I should say another nutrient that can help to break that as well as monolauric acid, and that is found in coconut. So coconut can be very beneficial. It can some antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral. It's a good source of medium chain triglycerides, so it's going to help your body to generate energy from fatty acids, which is going to help with that fatty acid. It's beta oxidation, so basically it's generating energy from the fats in particular. Great, great ideas. Actually, I do sometimes put coconut oil in the cabbage, so that's a fully functional dish that you get right there. So omega-3 fatty acids in particular, and also monoloric acid, that's going to help the viral I should say inhibit viral replication, so that at the RNA level, so that it's not creating more inflammatory proteins. And omega-3 fatty acids are initially anti-inflammatory anyway. So that's going to be your fish, that's going to be your pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, and then walnuts, and then your green leafy vegetables and avocados actually have some omega-3s in there. Eggs have some omega-3s, and then there's grass-fed beef that have some omega-3s in there too, but it's not going to have as high of a content as that's in wild-caught fish, so like salmon, sardines. You could take a really high-quality fish oil supplement. I am personally taking a fish oil supplement from Metagenics. Highly recommend it. If you have any questions about it, I would be more than happy to talk to you about your fish oil supplement and recommending some brands that would be really beneficial for you. So incorporating that in, that's going to be a potent anti-inflammatory. But also we need to pay attention to our gut. And I was saying that before, that the gut microbiota, the more diverse the gut microbiota is, the better your immune system is, and the better you're going to be able to fight off these foreign invaders. So this could be a preventative measure too. So that would be probiotics and prebiotics. In particular, there's pectin, so that can come from apples. There's also other prebiotics, which you're getting from fruits and vegetables, prebiotics in particular. There's Jerusalem artichoke, oats, bananas, apples, as I was saying before, and then garlic and onions are some sources of those prebiotics, so they help to feed the beneficial bacteria. Plus, the good carbohydrates actually help to feed the lactobacilli species. And interestingly enough, I just read that those that are on more of a high fat diet and a lower carbohydrate, they're going to have less lactobacillus species, which that's really important for your immune system, and it's really important for even your mood too. So I have been recommending this to a lot. I've been talking to a lot of patients about this recently, about the types of probiotics that they should have depending on what types of conditions that they're dealing with. And the lactobacillus species, you definitely want to have those intact. Now, sometimes you need to get rid of some of the lactobacillus species because it overproliferated. But again, that's for another day. We're going to throw that behind. So including those complex carbohydrates, minimizing the sugars, minimizing like the starches, the easy starches, because that's going to just drive up inflammation. And you're already kind of you're not as sensitive to insulin. I'm not going to say you're insulin resistant, but because of that inflammation and just the work on the adrenals that just did on you, you're not going to be as sensitive to insulin. So keeping that in mind, incorporating more of those complex carbohydrates, but really bumping up the fruits and the veggies in particular, that's going to give you a lot of nutrients. A big nutrient punch is going to give you those antioxidants. It's going to give you that fiber as well. Some other really important nutrients that you want to incorporate in particular, B vitamins. Those are going to be important for your energy pathways. They're going to be important for methylation, which is going to help to protect your DNA and your genes from any sort of oxidative damage. There's vitamin C, which I was discussing as well, and some other nutrients that are really important. I've been incorporating some N-acetylcysteine. That is also a component of glutathione, which is your body's natural antioxidant. It's glutamine, glycine, and cysteine, all in one, that helps with better antioxidant protection. Plus, it helps to decrease inflammation at the level of the lungs, which is very important, especially if you had flu or you had COVID. So it's going to be decreasing that inflammation in there. I still take it. Actually, that was one of the supplements I stopped taking for a while, and then, hello, I got the flu. So very important. It's about 600 milligrams that I usually recommend to people, sometimes up to 1200 milligrams. Again, you do want to discuss this with your doctor, as there could be some interactions with some of the medications, particularly prednisone and any sort of anti-inflammatories, like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Now, speaking of which, if you were having those during the time that you had the flu, then there is more of a need for you to clean up your gut. So incorporating some very gut healthy and gut soothing nutrients. That's going to be chia seeds and flax seeds. They have a mucilaginous layer, and that's going to be very beneficial for your gut. Marshmallow root is going to be very beneficial. Zinc carnosine, deglycerized licorice. It's just going to help to coat your gut and to soothe it from any sort of damage that had been done after you had gotten sick. other important nutrients. So I think that I covered all of them. All right, so what that looks like in terms of nutrition, so bumping up the fruits and the vegetables, more of an emphasis on those with quercetin. So that would be apples, that would be pineapples, that would be onions, that would be garlic, pomegranate. So getting that pomegranate powder, I do have some in my dispensary. It is from, I believe the brand is Ziva. I got Navita's Organics. I got that off of Amazon, but this one in particular is actually a little bit cheaper and it's really good too. So incorporating that in, that's an antihistamine as well. Incorporating sources of resveratrol. So organic grapes is a really great source of resveratrol as well. And then you've got the catechins, so that's going to be from your green tea and your matcha green tea. Cacao actually is a very good source of antioxidants, plus it's a very good source of prebiotics as well. So good on top of well, apples are going to give you the prebiotics and it's going to give you the pectin, but oats in particular, so gluten-free organic rolled oats, some bananas that are in there, again, garlic and onions, that's basically going to give you the best bang for your buck in there. So making those soups, those stews, things that are really, really warming. Oh, there's also turmeric, cinnamon, and ginger. I mean, those are really anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antiviral. I mean, that's why this is usually given in a gut healing protocol because they're so anti-inflammatory. I recommend golden milk a lot. I mean, I've been making a spicy cacao, which has been cacao powder and then the turmeric, cinnamon, and ginger. It's been like a little latte and it's so good. I put some coconut water in there too, and coconut water is going to be very beneficial for your system. Plus, it's going to be very high in potassium as well, which is going to be alkalizing to your system and help your system to produce more energy. So that's going to help to drive the inflammation out. Other things that help with lymph flow is more of those warming foods. So turmeric, cinnamon, ginger are going to help with that lymph flow as well to clear things out of your body and clear the debris out. Incorporating some wild caught fish, so sardines, wild caught tuna. I really like Wild Planet tuna. That's a really good source. There is mackerel, cod, oh, salmon, of course. Wild caught salmon is going to be really high in those omega-3 fatty acids that are going to help to combat the viral replication, so inhibit that viral replication so that it doesn't continue on and can decrease the length of time that you're experiencing these symptoms, particularly the fatigue. Most importantly, there is something that I forgot. Mitochondria. So mitochondria are your little energy powerhouses, and they're the ones that are responsible for generating ATP, which is your energy molecule. That does incorporate B1, B2, B3 so that you can actually get that energy molecule. But there's several other things that are important for that pathway, particularly magnesium and CoQ10 are going to be very important for the process in that Krebs cycle. So incorporating really good sources of magnesium, so your green leafy vegetables in some soups and some stews, anything that is a green vegetable, and a fruit too. Yes, and a fruit is going to have magnesium because the chlorophyll that gives it that green pigment, it's actually magnesium right at the middle of it that gives it the green pigment. So if it's green, it's going to have magnesium, but also almonds have magnesium as well as pumpkin seeds. Well, pumpkin seeds are technically green. But there's CoQ10 as well, and CoQ10 helps the Krebs cycle to kind of get through. So maybe having like a little bit of a nutrient that supports your mitochondria can be really beneficial. With L-carnitine, L-carnitine also helps with that fat beta oxidation, so the fatty acids generating energy. But there's also those medium chain triglycerides as well that are going to basically do the same thing, that it's going to go along that shuttle and it's going to give you that energy, which you're going to be getting from coconut. Other sources, we talked about resveratrol. I think that we got everything in there. Again, you really want to pay attention to the quality of food. It's usually recommended having some sort of a Mediterranean style nutrition plan afterwards. So that's going to be your olive oils. It's going to be your fruits and your vegetables. That's going to be some beans in there if you don't have any sort of issues with lectins. and you don't have any issues when it comes to any like autoimmune conditions, that can be really beneficial for you because that has fiber in there to be able to help to diversify that gut microbiota as well. Actually, those particular I think it is, yes, it's the complex carbohydrates that help to increase bifidobacterium species, and those are important for producing short chain fatty acids, which are going to help the integrity of your gut. So very important that you're incorporating those complex carbohydrates in there. So lower GI complex carbohydrates, that's going to be including your more of your whole grains, so quinoa, buckwheat, your fruits. I still have sweet potatoes and potatoes because they are actually a really chock full. They're chock full of nutrients, particularly chromium, potassium, vitamin A, a lot of antioxidants. So I still incorporate some of those in. So really you want to get a lot of color and a lot of good nutrient density from those plant-based foods, as well as incorporating the fish and incorporating high quality protein in there, such as high quality eggs, and still having your lean protein, so your chicken, your turkey, and you can even have some lean ground beef in there. I highly recommend that it is going to be grass fed, because if it's not, then conventional farming, it has completely different composition. The fats have a completely different composition, so it's going to act a little bit differently in your body. All right, and then if you want incorporating some nutrients in there, some extra nutrients, so I talked about N-acetylcysteine, I talked about CoQ10, and I talked about B vitamins in particular. So if you need to incorporate a little bit more of those in, having some of those B vitamins. But the B vitamins you can get from several different foods as well. All right. I think I covered everything, but again, I really highly recommend. I've been talking about the pomegranates and the pomegranate powder, very good source of quercetin. It's going to be a good source of arginine as well, which is going to help with that nitric oxide production, and that's going to help to get the lymph moving, making sure that you're moving, making sure that you're supporting your mitochondria, that you have more lower glycemic foods, foods that are really colorful and enough protein. They usually recommend more like kind of like a lower carbohydrate plan when you're getting back from this, just to give your body a little bit of a boost. Again, it doesn't have to be super low carbohydrate, because I just talked about that high fat nutrition plans also decrease lactobacillus species, and you want to diversify that. So nice complex carbohydrates that you're getting in there, lots of rich fruits and vegetables, giving yourself some grace, getting the rest that you need, supporting all your cells, supporting your gut, and supporting your energy pathways, and you will be in good shape for, well, the remainder. Okay. All right. So I hope that this was very helpful for everybody. I know that it's been going around. This has been a really, really nasty strain. Incorporating some of these things and can really help your body to heal from this. And I hope that this has been really beneficial for you. Again, my name is Drew Mulvey. I am a certified dietitian nutritionist, board certified nutrition specialist, and certified integrative sports nutritionist. Obviously, very functional medicine, integrative health focused. Really, I'm the vitality specialist, and I work with the athletic populations to really help them to reach their athletic potential. But even those that just want to take control of their health and know their bodies a lot better, I am there to help to guide you and to help you with a thriving bill of health. So if that sounds like you, I do have a free 1-hour strategy session. For those of you that are on Instagram, it's going to be in my bio. For those of you that are on Facebook, it is going to be in the comments below. I look forward to speaking with you. I'll give you some very specific tips on how to keep your body healthy and functioning through the winter. Give you some very specific tips on some nutrition and nutrient ideas that you can incorporate into your plan to start getting you moving in the direction that you want to go to and achieving the goals that you want. All right. Well, I hope that everybody has a wonderful Friday, and I will see you all next week. Be safe, stay well, take care. Bye-bye.